It's so nice. I like that the only sound we hear is us. If we're
awesome.
talking, or
Yes.
the fish splashing, or Mulligan gnawing on her bone, I think it's amazing. You know, if you haven't gone to a wilderness lodge, a really good option is to take a train and then come here to Marmac Lodge. Now, one thing I got to explain to you, this is the 4th walleye that I've had on. Most people that fish here use live minnows, and that's because they work really well. So I tried a plastic, and I had about 3 fish on in about 30 casts, but I lost all of them. What I did was put a little 2-inch stinger hook, and you can see that that fish was very lightly hooked just with the stinger. So what that's telling me is that they're not really aggressively hitting the plastics, but they are going for them. So the nice thing is for the customers, they actually have a tape measure here that has the catch limits. This fish is 17.5 inches, which is ideal for eating. It's a really good eating size because you're allowed to keep 3 fish, if I'm not mistaken, under 18.1 inches and 1 over. What I'm going to do, you can see I brought my fish stringer. This is old school. This is actually a really good one. It's got a wire cable inside, and you can see that each snap slides up and down. So it's kind of handy because you don't have to lift the whole chain out of the water every time. So what I'm going to do to keep them fresh, because that water's cold, I'm going to put them on the stringer. Now, when you put them on an old-fashioned stringer like this, it's best just to pierce the fish under the jaw, like so. Some people will put the whole mechanism right underneath the gill plate, and I find that this works a lot better if it's hooked just like that. So I'm going to let them go down there. Now, one thing you got to make sure when you're using a stringer like this, kind of take a rough measurement of how far the motor is, because I've seen lots of guys where they've got their full stringer out, or even a minnow pail, and they go to start after they get 2 or 3 fish, and they forget to pull the stringer out, and it gets caught in the prop, and then it's broken off. So even though I could put it right here, what I'm going to do is put it down farther in the boat so that it's going to make my line shorter, and that's a very good idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go right about there, so that there's no way that this fish can get caught in the motor.
Fisher girl! Catch the passion!
Terry, I know that you fish a lot, even though you're a teacher, and I know that you have a cottage on Balsam Lake, and that you fish for bass, and that you've used plastic worms. Why don't we show the viewers how you rig a plastic worm so it's totally weedless and without a weight, so you can fish it in really shallow water.
So here's my plastic worm, and here's the head of the worm, and here's the bottom, or the tail. That comes to a point. And I'm going to take my hook, and I use a worm hook instead of a regular hook. And then I'm going to take my hook and put it through the head of the worm. And I'm going to go about 3 centimeters down until it comes out. Then I'm going to take it all the way to the top where this bendy area is, or a step. And I'm going to take it so it actually goes right up onto the line until I can see that bend. That way the worm will lie straight down and hang loosely. So then I'm going to take the bottom here where it reaches the hook, and that's where I want the worm to go into the hook. And I'm going to pull it in and put it on just like this. And then it lies very straight down like this. And that way when the bass comes and grabs it, the hook will go right through.